Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up, Facebook? It's Boomy here, and I am excited to be with you all today. I want you to tune into this conversation that I'm having with a new friend who I recently met a couple of weeks ago, and we just hit it off because, like, we are about the same things. We're helping people in many of the same ways, and we have some of the same passions. And I wanted to introduce you all to Cindy Renee. If you're not friends with her on Facebook, you're definitely going to want to connect and become a friend as well. But Cindy and I um, have been mentees of the great Bob Proctor. And it is such a privilege. We're still his mentees, even though he just recently transitioned. But we wanted to come today and just to share with you some of the impact and the life change that's happened for us, because what we want for ourselves, we want for other people. And um, we particularly have hearts for our people, for minorities, for women and African Americans, because there's so much gaps that we have, Cindy. Isn't that right? It's like we've got this huge wealth gap between us and them. We've got a huge health gap. And we've got to learn how to close the gap. And it all starts with really our thinking, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Cindy, I'm going to start with you. Tell us a little bit about um, Bob's memorial. You just watched it. What impact did Bob have on your life? And tell us a little bit about how you felt after watching that memorial service.
Wow. That morning, actually, I woke up, I served breakfast for my family, and I was listening to it. And the impact that it had on me was one, he was loved by so many people. The one thing I have realized is that, you probably think about it just a little, that when you pass away, what impact have you made? And just studying my material, just about Einstein and a couple of others on how they passed away, and people didn't realize the impact that they made until they were gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I watched Bob, the impact that I had, the thing that really touched me is that the legacy he left behind, the impact that he left on his family. I remember when I heard Brian speaking,
Yeah.
and Brian said that his father would always leave people with the spirit of increase,
Mm-hmm.
all the way down to him leaving the hospital, his departure from the hospital to go home, to pass away in his home. I thought that was really, really, really amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
then to hear Brian talk about how he would come in his room every night before he goes to bed and put his hand on his heart and basically speak life into him.
Yes.
And this helped with his confidence. And what I loved about that is that, like you said, it's a big gap between our community, them, us, and not that we're different from each other. However, we have been identified as different in the world, but we
Mm-hmm.
are the same. We are all
Yes.
human. And so the difference is that what we, our culture, don't know or don't understand, we reject it. And I think that's the problem that we're dealing with today. I believe that we have been conditioned
Mm-hmm.
religiously. And if
Oh,
you're
for
not coming in from a platform of religion spectrums, they don't receive what you're saying. And it doesn't even have to be the truth. It can be fabricated. But as long as you know, attach religion to it, they're more apt to receive it. I mean, more prone to receive
sure.
it. And so I just really feel that, or believe that, when you're genuine and it's coming from your heart, and I really believe that's the reason why we have to become a product of the product, so that they can see our transformation and understand that it's possible. It is possible.
Yes, absolutely. And when Cindy talks about being a product of the product, what she's speaking of is the work that Bob taught. So you'll find all types of videos out there on YouTube and things of that nature, but we really happen to be blessed to work closely with him and his work, and have access to the world's best personal transformation program on
Yes.
earth. And
On
so Cindy
earth.
and I, on earth, absolutely. And Cindy and I facilitate people through that. We coach them through. And so Bob said, and we say, tell us what you want and we can show you how to get it. And why can we say this with such certainty? Because it's all based on universal law. So when you look at Bob's life, and he always tells the story of his start, which looked nothing like his end when he crossed over. The same thing can happen for you. It doesn't matter anything about your past. It doesn't matter what your start was like. Bob was like fast, going nowhere, working at a gas station. The best job he ever had was making $4,000 a year as a fireman. And yet he got
Absolutely.
this information that we're now sharing with you, that he put in a package and said, man, this changed my life. Now I'm happy, healthy, wealthy, have friends all over the world. And I gotta share this with other people. And he got on a mission to do that. And now Cindy and I are on that same mission because this has absolutely changed our lives. So Cindy was the one. Cindy, I was coming out of the gym when you called me and said, did you hear the news? I'm like, what news? Oh my God, I don't want to relive it. And you told me
Yeah.
that Bob had passed. I was like, no. Whew. Tear up just thinking about that. So, but Cindy was the one who gave me the news. And let me tell you, when I watched that memorial, guys, if you haven't watched the memorial, you got to see it. You got to see the memorial.
Yes.
Like, you would think, why would I want to see a memorial? You want to see this one. It's like, Cindy, I felt like, who could watch this and not be changed? Like, you come out wanting to be a better person. You're so inspired. And it's not just about all the great things that just Bob did in business. As she said, it's about who he was as a husband, that family man, that father, who he was as a philanthropist. You know, they said if you wanted to sum Bob up in one word, it would be giver. It made you want to be a better giver. It made you want to, as she said, leave people with a spirit of increase and put a smile on their face and make them feel good. It made you just want to do better in life and know that you can. Y'all got to see the memorial. Oh my gosh. It was just so moving. But Cindy, you're right. We've all been conditioned, and the results that everyone is getting in their life right now is because of that conditioning. Tell us a little bit about your conditioning, what it was, because we everybody has a story, right? I got a
Right.
story. I'm gonna share mine real quick, but I want to hear first your story because I never heard it. What was that conditioning? Where were you stuck in? What is some of the transformation that's happened for you now because of this work with thinking into results?
Prior to the coaching program, I'm just going to bring you up until about 4 years ago.
Okay.
I was introduced to the coaching program, and the first thing I thought when I was introduced into the coaching program was, oh my God, how am I going to pay for this?
Mm-hmm.
And so, me being in the program now, I realized that I was living from my five senses,
Mm-hmm.
fear, lack, doubt. And so, what happened was, I had an amazing, amazing coach. And she used to always tell me, Cindy, now you're gonna have to change the way you think. Her voice, she's from Australia, and her voice was just simply soothing. And she used to coach me through a lot of things because she understood that it was my paradigm, but I didn't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was I came into the coaching program. And what made me go into the coaching program is because I was a victim of
Mm.
myself. You
Yeah.
know, I felt like I was always good to people. I was always a friend to people. I would give my last. Now, I might give you a little lecture before I give it to you, but I would give and help. And what ended up happening was when the people hurt me and I couldn't shake it, I couldn't shake it. I didn't know how to shake it. And as I enter into the program, I got focused. I start focusing on the material. I started focusing on the information that I was learning. And I realized that the things that became obsolete to me, the things that once mattered became obsolete and no longer
Mhm.
matter anymore. And I learned how to apply the law. And so the Bob Proctor coaching program teaches you about the law. And I saw my life changing.
Mhm.
And not only that, it allowed me to understand the spiritual perspective of life even better once I started to understand the universal laws. And so what brought me in was my own thought process. I was my own victim. The lack was in my mindset. I used to feel that it wasn't enough, or how am I possibly going to be able to do this? I got this bill to pay, and this is due. I got 3 kids. I got a business. I got my own life. So how am I going to pay for this coaching program? But what it did was condition my thought process. And so this is going all the way up into me planning my wedding. When I start planning my wedding, I remember my event planner, my coordinator, and I going down to the venue. And so I just remember, the part about keeping money in your wallet and having the
Mhm.
money and the feeling that it gives you. And so I went to this big place down in Macon, and they had the trimming in gold, pretty much like the Biltmore Hotel up here in
Mhm.
Atlanta. And girl, I was super excited. I was living my life. I was planning my dream wedding. I had just bought my Mercedes Benz. I went to the dealership and I was like, this is what I want. The interior, and it's funny because one of the ladies that was one of my clients had a black Benz like the
Mhm.
one I got, and we went to this makeup show. And as I was riding in her car, I was looking around like, wow, this is nice. So the first thing in my mind was, clearly you can't afford this,
Mhm.
right? And so I ponder on that thing, right? And long before you know it, December 31st, 2019, it manifested. I got my dream car, planning my wedding, got my dream car, money in my wallet, living my life. The people who hurt me, I released them. I was no longer a victim. I was victorious and I was living my life. And
Mhm.
here comes the pandemic, honey. Okay. And a little bit before the pandemic, and I heard, because I always attended the training, the paradigm. And it was one guy that was on there, and I heard him say he started to let his foot up off the gas. And what
Mhm.
I mean by that is that he wasn't applying the information, he wasn't living the life by the material in which we were taught.
Mhm.
And his life started to change. So what happened to me was I started to take my foot off the gas, and I had no one around me to help me get back on track, because the mastermind group that I was in, I don't know what happened to that. We have the Facebook particular page, which they just put information in about their experiences. So I didn't have that connect, and so up until the pandemic, throughout, you know, I fell off. The year before, 2020, I started the Thinking into Result program. I got into the Thinking into Result program. My mind wasn't where it needed to be. I was
Mhm.
still in that mode of what happened, what I went through. I let my foot up off the gas, and boom, I was right back. And so I wasn't able to receive the information in which I needed at that time when I went through the TIR as a client. And so what happened was, I remembered how I felt and the change I started to see in my life when I was in the coaching program. And when my husband and I went to celebrate our 1 year anniversary last year in August, I was just, pondering, meditating on that thing. And I was like, what is it? I know my life was changing, but I didn't know what had happened, why it was changing, until I just start, searching and soul
Mhm.
searching. And I was like, what is it? And I realized it was the program. And as I was on my vacation, I started researching. Then I reached out to my coach who coached me through the coaching program. And I asked her if she was a consultant for, Bob Proctor, because I didn't know anything about PGI, right? And she was like, yeah. And so I was just very inquisitive. And I prayed about it. And I was like, okay, God, I need something that can keep me accountable. I need something that can lock me in where I can always study this material and where I can always feel amazing and I don't have to worry about a group. And so I created a group. I created my consultant business. And this forces me to be a product of the product. It forces me to elevate and step my game up because in order for me to help someone else, I definitely have to be a product of the product. And so that's where my drive came from. And that's how my consultant business was birthed.
Awesome. Well, there were so many pivotal points that you shared. First of all, when Cindy was talking about us really having a heart for our community, we all as humans are the same. We've got to understand that first and foremost, we are spiritual beings. All of us, we are spiritual beings. We're housed and live in this body, and we have an intellect. But at the core of who you are is spiritual. And she said she was connected to her five senses, right? That's like what we can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. And most people live by their senses, being that they live from the outside in. But being that you are a spiritual being, you should really be living from the inside out. It's a much more powerful way to live from the inside out. And so, what Cindy is saying is when we came in close to Bob and his work and started following the protocols and invested thousands and tens of thousands into ourselves, we started living from right the inside out. Is something that we learned to do. And when we started doing that, everything changed. She got her dream car. She got her dream man. She had her dream wedding. She has her dream business. Like things change when you start to live from the inside out. And so the thing that she was saying about being a victim, most people start out in the beginning with the victim mentality. That's how most people start out.
Mm-hmm.
But we get so empowered when we learn this work and we realize that everything that we are living, Cindy, is of our own making. And most people say, what? I wouldn't choose this abuse. I wouldn't choose this lack. I wouldn't choose this struggle. You're choosing it. We all are choosing it with our thoughts, our beliefs, and our actions. I was choosing it. I remember, Cindy, so many years of financial struggle and stress and having to borrow and just it was like bills after bills and debt after debt. But I knew there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way. And so in my story, I was just always seeking. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna find a way to get to this financial freedom. I ain't gonna stay stuck here. This don't feel good. I'm on Section 8. I got WIC. I have food stamps. Did all that thing. I'm like, I gotta remove myself from there. Remove myself from there through personal development, but still it was the struggle. It wasn't living in the flow, that we know we could live in. But thank God for this work from Bob Proctor, really feeling it, utilizing it as a student. You know how he teaches us to study. Y'all are out there reading and listening to videos, which is good, but it's a whole different level, a whole different programming and conditioning that you'll get when you really learn how to study the work and then to apply it. So as Cindy said, she invested into a coach, a mentor, someone that could guide her through. And she said she was amazing. Having a coach is so awesome because accountability is a success insurance policy. And if you are 110% sold out about achieving your goals, you got to have someone to be guiding you through. And so Bob and his work helped to guide us through with some, I'm sure you had some other mentors along the way, but now here we are. Oh my God. And as good as life is, as Bob says, it gets better, right?
Yes,
Still
yes,
gets
yes.
better. That's the exciting thing. I'm like, oh, I'm excited about all the goodness that's coming. And so we wanted to make this video because, as we said, what we want for ourselves, we want for other people. We want for our people. We want for people who have been struggling. We want the freedom for people who feel like they've been stuck, or people who maybe you're stuck at six figures and you need to get to seven. Maybe you're a millionaire and you need to get to 8. The work that we coach people through helps anyone, anywhere get to any level. It's all done the same way by law. I'm telling you, it's absolutely amazing. So, Bob, we love you. We thank you for
Yeah.
your service here on earth. You changed our life. You've touched millions. He touched millions upon
Millions. Yes.
people. Oh my God, we love, love, love him. And Cindy, from all the impact that Bob made when he's here, I really believe that people like us and other people who do this work are going to get more passionate and have even a stronger resolve to get this out to the masses in a big way so we can help people to change their results by changing their thinking. And that's where it all starts. So as you said, sometimes you got to leave some of that religious conditioning to the side, the part that keeps you bound, and understand that there's a better way of thinking. There's a truth that you should walk in, and you just don't believe things just because somebody told you to believe. You got to learn how to think for yourself and think to get the results that you want in your life. Any closing words before we go, Cindy?
Wow, that was simply amazing. Yes, I just want to just encourage the people to reach out to someone. I know that when life get hard or challenging, you do all that you can do. You read, you listen to the podcast, you follow all of these people, but there's no major impact. And
Mm-hmm.
so I realized at one point in my life that I couldn't get myself any farther. And I needed someone who can help me, someone who I knew can get results, someone who was genuinely concerned about my next level.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of coaches out here, and they'll take your money and they'll give you just a little bit, but they don't give you everything that you need to have that impact, to have the results that you really want. And that was key for me. And so, if I can tell anybody anything going today, and I want y'all to think about this, Boomy and I teaches you how to think and not what to think.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a difference. And when you learn how to think, and then you think the way you should think, then your life change. So I'm saying all that just to let you know, you definitely need a coach or a mentor that's going to get you to your next level in this life if you really want radical change, a quantum leap, as Bob would say, explosiveness. It's time. That's it for me.
Well, I'm going to type what you said because that's so powerful. We don't teach you what to think, we teach you how to think. And most people have
Absolutely.
like, what? They never even thought about the difference there. But this is what I want to do. Um, I want you to give your website. I'm gonna scroll it across the bottom. I'm gonna put your website and my website because we want people to come in closer, get to meet us, join our email lists and newsletters and things of that nature. So, what is your website, Cindy?
My website is www.cindy, CYNDI, Renee, RENEE.com. And if they enter in right now, tonight at 8 p.m., they will be registering for the last day of my Bulletproof Yourself image. Because I have also learned that everything that I attract into my life is a direct reflection of how I view myself. And so I'm teaching my people how to bulletproof their self image to where they become unstoppable, fearless, able to walk in purpose, and really create the life that they desire to live.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I love that. All right, guys. So want to find out more about Cindy, go to cindyrenee.com. That's down there, cindyrenee.com. And hit me up, empowermenow.com. Empowermenow.com. That's empower with an I. Go ahead, Cindy.
It's CYNDI.
Isn't that what I have? CY. Oh,
No,
I'm
you
sorry.
got
Ooh,
CYD.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I gotta get
Yes.
it right, y'all. See, that's what I get for not having my readers on. And typing too fast. All right. CYNDIRENEE dot
.com.
Forgive me. You gotta get that
Yes.
right in marketing. All right, y'all. Here we go. Here we go. CYNDI. All right, there we go. CindyRenee.com. CindyRenee.com. Awesome. So thank you for being here with me today, girl. We got a major work to do in this world, and we're gonna have fun doing it, changing lives. So we need to get back together and do some more videos and help our
I'm
people.
excited. I love it. Yes. Definitely. We'll be in touch.
Awesome, awesome. All right, guys, you have an awesome day. And as my slogan says, remember, you are more powerful than you know. And if you haven't joined my Facebook group, come on in for some more personal development. The name of the group is Power Personified Tribe. Power Personified Tribe, because you are power walking. All right, have a great day. Bye bye.